rejecting. It's the Raggy Dolls, Raggy Dolls, Raggy Dolls, Raggy Dolls, dolls like you and me. Raggy Dolls, Raggy Dolls, Raggy Dolls, Raggy Dolls, made him perfectly. So if you got a bump on your nose or lumps on your toes, do not despair. Be like the Raggy Dolls and say I just don't care. 'Cause Raggy Dolls, Raggy Dolls, Raggy Dolls, Raggy dolls are happy just to be Raggy Dolls, Raggy Dolls, dolls like you and me.
One afternoon, the Raggy Dolls were up in the treehouse playing I Spy. All except Hi-Fi, who'd been busy in the tool shed all day.
I spy with my little Hi,
said Princess, whose turn it was.
Something beginning with H.
Nah problem, said Back to Front. It's heads. Princess shook her head.
Hands,
said Dotty. Princess shook her head again.
No, she said. It's Hi-Fi. Look, he's carrying something.
It was a telescope. Hi-Fi proudly showed it to the others. I made it from cardboard tubes and a broken magnifying glass, he said.
It's brilliant, said Dotty. Does it work?
I don't know, he stammered. I've come up here to test it. So saying, he held up the telescope and looked back towards the factory. He could see the big letters, Grimes Soft Toys, quite clearly. Let's have a go, said Back to Front. Can you hold it up for me? Hi-Fi held the telescope, while Back to Front stood facing backwards as usual. Wow, he said. You can see for miles. Keep it still. Oh, gosh, he exclaimed.
What is it?
Said Lucy. See for yourselves, said Back to Front. I think it's an amusement park. Dotty looked through the eyepiece. She could see a big wheel, a helter-skelter, and the top of a merry-go-round. It is an amusement park, she gasped. Come on, let's cut across the fields and see what's what. The others agreed. The Raggy Dolls had to scramble through quite a few hedges and then a steep ditch. At last, they arrived at Stony Brook Park. There was the merry-go-round, the helter-skelter, and a lot more besides. It's not open to the public yet, said Hi-Fi. There was lots of hammering and fixing going on. Let's take a closer look, said Dotty. Creeping along behind a pretend castle, they suddenly came across a sort of train, parked on some rails that led into a dark doorway. It must be one of the rides, said Back to Front. Come on, let's try it. I don't think we should, said Sad Sack.
Oh, come on, Sad Sack, said Princess. It's only a train.
But it wasn't only a train. It was a ghost train. No sooner had the Raggy Dolls climbed aboard when there was a click and a jerk, and the train moved off into the dark doorway. The Raggy Dolls were in complete darkness. Suddenly, the train stopped. Then it started again, and a horrible whining noise made them all jump. They jumped even more when a skeleton lit up in front of them. The train swerved, and they were in darkness again. They heard horrible laughs, saw ghastly faces. All the time, the train kept swerving this way and that. Suddenly, they were in daylight again, but not out the back where they started. Now, they were where the people got on and got off, and a man was standing right next to them. It was Lord Stonybroke himself. Fortunately, he was looking the wrong way and didn't see the Raggy Dolls make their escape. I say, Charlie, he called, when's that merry-go-round going to be ready? About 10 minutes, Governor, a voice called back. Meanwhile, the Raggy Dolls had found a place to hide.
I'm not sure I like this place,
said Lucy.
It's full of scary things.
Nah, it's not, said Back to Front. That was just a ghost train. None of it was real.
I thought it was rather fun, said Dotty. But this is no place for dolls. We ought to go.
Just then, they heard his lordship's voice again, very nearby. If I'm going to open Stonybroke Hall to the public, I've jolly well got to make sure the people come. So, I've advertised a free firework display for as soon as it gets dark. That should bring the people in. That's a good idea, boss, said Bert. I'll just give this a test, and I'll have me cup of tea, all right? I could do with one myself, said his lordship, walking away. Bert pulled a lever, and the Raggy Dolls felt themselves being lifted, up and up.
Oh no,
moaned Sad Sack.
whatever next?
Up and up and up went the Raggy Dolls. They had hidden under one of the seats of the big wheel. Soon they were going down, down, down.
My tummy feels all funny.
Groaned Sad Sack. Lucy had her eyes shut tight, and the others stared with their mouths wide open. At last, the big wheel stopped, and Bert went for his cup of tea. But again, the Raggy Dolls were not back where they started at the bottom. They were stuck right at the top.
Oh, why did we come?
Whimpered Lucy. Just then, a pigeon landed on the handrail.
Oh,
Said the pigeon.
what are you doing up here?
We're stuck.
Moaned Sad Sack.
Oh,
Said the pigeon.
never mind. It's a lovely view.
Please, can you help us? Begged Princess, who had no head for heights. The pigeon agreed and flew the Raggy Dolls one by one to the top of the helter-skelter. The Raggy Dolls thanked the pigeon and climbed onto a mat.
When we get to the bottom,
Said Dotty.
we are definitely leaving.
Down and down and round until at last they reached the bottom. We must find somewhere to hide until it gets dark, said Back to Front. And in no time at all, the Raggy Dolls sat panting under a big wooden platform.
This ought to do, whispered Dotty. At least we're on the ground.
Just then, organ music started up, and the big wooden platform above their heads began to move. They had hidden under the merry-go-round. The Raggy Dolls laid flat on the ground as bits of metal bobbed up and down over their heads. At last, it was dark. Whoosh, bang, whiz and thrill, the fireworks went off. Now's our chance, said Back to Front. The Raggy Dolls made good their escape. It wasn't until they were back safe inside the reject bin that they began to relax.
Phew, said Lucy. I've had enough excitement to last me a year.
Mais oui, said Claude. Je suis très fatigué,
I'm worn out too.
said Sad Sack.
Well, I think amusement parks are awful.
Well, I don't know, said Back to Front. After all, life is full of little ups and downs.
We are not amused.
Said Dotty. They all laughed, and soon fell fast asleep.
It's not much of a life when you're just a pretty face. Just to be whoever you are is no disgrace. Look around and you will find people of every kind, like the Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
dolls like you and me. Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
Raggy Dolls,
made imperfectly. So if you're not at ease with your knobbly knees and your fingers are all fuzz, stand on your two left feet